a great way to wake up.
Well, our audience is wide awake, and we're very happy to have you on with us.
Thank you.
So, we were doing the hot topics, and we were talking about is marriage a success after 6 years, and I've been reading some of the things that that you've been talking about. Very thoughtful. And one of the things you said is that you now understand the purpose of marriage, and it's not what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
So,
what do I think of it?
What do you think of it?
Yeah. Well, I think I know what your interview you're referring to.
Ladies' Home Journal.
Yeah, Ladies' Home Journal. I think a lot of people have the notion that that marriage or that true love is based on romance, and sending flowers to one another or having romantic candlelight dinners or even more profound things like bringing children up. And I do think that is an important aspect of marriage. But for me, what really, because romance comes and goes, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes your husband and your wife is your best friend, and sometimes they're in the doghouse, right?
Absolutely.
Often they're in the doghouse.
Often.
Yes. So for me, my understanding is that marriage is not about really any of those things. I think I think what makes a marriage successful is the ability to love one another unconditionally. And it's the hardest thing in the world. There's nothing romantic about loving somebody unconditionally, because it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Madonna, my pastor once said that at this point in his marriage, he has no reason to love his wife. He just loves her because.
Right.
And
by reasons you mean like the outside
it's
reasons.
not, because she's the prettiest person. She's
Are they talented?
None of that. It's just because I love her.
Yeah. Well, that's soul. That's loving someone on a soul level.
But it's easy
taking all the physical stuff away.
Yeah. To unconditionally love your children is easier than unconditionally loving a spouse. I think it's harder.
I mean, they're way cuter.
We want to get not only
listen more.
We want to get not only to your two cute children, but to your children's book. But I want to ask you something first. We've been on the air for 8 years. Had we interviewed you 8 years ago, would we be talking to a very different Madonna than the lady now?
Absolutely. I mean, well, first of all, I wasn't married. 8 years ago, I was, well, if you want to go a little bit further back, I was before I had my children. No, I was an incredibly self-centered person. I won't say, I mean, I was fun, interesting to talk to, perhaps.
More than you are now, do you think?
No, definitely not, no.
How come?
Well, because I think, I mean, children and husbands make you grow up, don't they?
They sure do.
Not everybody, I guess, but for the most part.
And you have a different philosophy now, too.
Yeah, I think I'm a lot more patient and compassionate and understanding. I'm a lot less judgmental than I used to be. So 8 years ago, I didn't think so much before I spoke. Yeah, as you all know.
But that's what made a lot of people laugh.
No, and I don't regret anything, but I'd much rather be who I am today than who I was 8 years ago.
I heard you say that before. You had no regrets. No. But do you ever look back at 10, 15 years ago and go, who was that girl?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who's that girl? What was the name of her?
That's
exactly. I think that's what makes it
We
so
loved
cool
a lot of that girl, though.
Yeah, I do too. And I love my chutzpah. I love how spontaneous I was. I love that I pushed people's buttons and I provoked a lot of things. And some of those things were good, and some of those things were not good. And that's part of growing up. So.
But you probably wouldn't have had the career that you had without pushing those buttons and being out.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I think I arrived at the place that I'm at, in a good way. I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through all those things.
Right. And you wouldn't be able to lend your experience too to the books that you're writing now for kids, which I think is really cool. I mean, you've written 5 books.
Right.
Under 2 years, sold over 2 million copies to like 110 countries or something like that. I mean, it's really incredible.
Yeah.
Is it true that, was it your Kabbalah instructor that
suggested it
to do that, or
well,
was
he didn't push
something
me.
you had always wanted to do?
He basically, I was sitting around feeling sorry for myself, as I'm very good at doing that. And
like about what do you feel sorry for yourself about?
Well, no, I mean, this was a while ago. I think I was moping about, people like writing not nice things about me, or I could have been, I don't know, I was complaining about something. And he said, you know what, you're just too caught up in yourself. Why don't you do something for other people that has nothing to do with what you're going to get out of it? So, I mean, no one ever suggested that to me before.
No.
Wow.
You put your energies into something that benefited someone else.
Yeah, and well, I didn't, you know, there's nothing glamorous about writing children's books. There's nothing cool about writing children's books.
It's hard to write a children's book.
Yeah, it is, and I thought, okay, I'm up for that challenge. That's an interesting idea, so I did it.
Each of the books that you've written, it's not just this. This is fun, but it is. But it also tries to say something that's important, to deliver a message. And I love the title of the last one, Lots of Dakasha.
Yeah.
So what is the lesson in that?
Well, Lots of Dakasha is the name of a greyhound. He's very rich. He's got everything in the world that money can buy, except he's not happy. And so essentially the theme of the story is that all the riches in the world will not bring you happiness and fulfillment. The only thing that will bring you happiness and fulfillment is sharing what you have, whether that's money or time or your talents or your wisdom.
And you believe that. That's how you find happiness, too.
Absolutely.
Did you find when you were doing really well in your career in this other period that you just described that you were not happy? Because you had it all.
Yeah, but it was momentary happiness. You know, my life was a series of ups and downs, and it was like, you know, one minute I was ecstatically happy, and the next minute I could be very down. And I think the biggest emptiness in my life was that I didn't seem to be able to have a lasting and meaningful relationship. And I wanted a family, and how could I have a family if I didn't have a lasting and meaningful relationship? So,
some people do it these days. They just have single parenting and they have the baby.
Yeah.
And they don't have a husband. That brings fulfillment to a lot of people these days.
I'm sure it does, but
Yeah.
I need a husband.
So this is the sixth book. This is the sixth book, and they've all been successful, and each one has I read the first one, maybe it wasn't the first one, which talked about, you know, children being on the outside and being kind to other children and so forth.
Yeah.
Do your kids read the books?
Absolutely. My daughter is kind of my, she's my cohort when I'm writing, because I write like a rough draft, and then I go and I read it to her, and she's like, boring, boring. Mom, I don't get that, I don't get that. Oh, I like that part, I like that part. So, and now I'm writing a sequel to The English Roses, and she insisted that there was a boy in it. So,
We just got thinking
Somebody's
Okay, like mother, like daughter.
exactly.
But daughter's going to stay with us. Yes, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
And I know you're probably sick of this, but from someone who works out a lot, I just want to know, because I want to know how you get the way you are. You've been, because you're strong, and I think your physique is something different. You're petite, obviously.
mantis.
No, but you are you're strong. And I think that's something that a lot of women aspire to be, but I think you've really struck
what
the
do you do
balance.
is
What
what
do
you're
you
asking,
do? Tell me.
What do I do? I do lots of things. I do yoga, but it's not hatha yoga. It's Ashtanga yoga, which is very visceral, and you sweat. You lift up your body weight. It's kind of like gymnastics.
Okay.
Every day do you do this?
No, I kind of alternate. I do Pilates some days. I do Ashtanga. I go running.
What about diet? Do you cut out anything?
I don't eat dairy, and I don't eat a lot of wheat, bread, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It works.
You're very good.
The body's
Do you
good,
crave a
as you can
bacon
see.
cheeseburger every now and again?
No, I don't.
No, but
That's
you've
not
always
my-
been like this. Even in the 80s when people were puffy, you weren't. You escaped that
Oh,
somehow.
I had
When
my
people
puffy
were
days.
puffy?
No.
What do you mean we're puffy?
Before the low carb, you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
no, no. I have my puffy
always
days.
looked good.
Even now, I have my puffy days.
Okay.
A little bloated and retaining sometimes in the month?
Yeah.
Listen, I would like to know,
Joy, you really are a number.
what is the typical day for Madonna? You get up in the morning, and then what happens?
Well, I sit on my throne. I put my red cape on. Typical day is my children coming in my bedroom in the morning and dragging me out of bed.
Yeah.
And I, you know, crawl for a few minutes, and then I get my, put my slippers on, splash cold water on my face, go downstairs, eat breakfast with them. I mean, it's pretty boring. They go to school, and then I go into my office and talk to my girls.
And
My
Guy,
girls and-
do your business.
Is it Guy or Guy? Guy.
Guy,
Guy.
yeah.
So you said that he's the one who plays with the kids and so on, and you are the disciplinarian.
Yeah, I'm bad cop. He's good cop. Yeah. Yeah.
What form of discipline? Like, what do you do?
Well, it's usually taking things away, taking privileges away.
Oh, I read about the clothes.
Taking clothes, yeah, that's my daughter does not like to pick up her bedroom. So she throws her clothes everywhere, and I say, okay, if it's on the floor when you leave for school in the morning, it's going to be gone when you come back. So we have a big trash bag, and we collect her clothes, and we put it all in the bag. And by the end of the week, she's got one outfit to wear.
I think that's great.
I said, you know, okay, so you need to earn your clothes back. So it works for a while, and then the clothes start falling on the floor again.
I would be in trouble with that as a disciplinary
for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm paying attention, Madonna, to all of the different aspects that you're exposing of yourself. Would you ever write a book
About me?
About yourself, and take us through who Madonna is, was, is, and wants to be?
I've thought about it, but it's a daunting idea. I don't know. I think maybe I'll do it in 20, 30,
You're too
40
young
years.
to do it. Yeah.
But I think there's some people out there who would
Wanna
be
know?
interested in that.
I do have some tales to tell, that's for sure.
I want to go back a little bit when you're talking about discipline, because so many of our audience have kids, and we've all gone through this. First of all, I want to just show this book again, because it's not just, you know, fun and interesting to read, but the most wonderful pictures. Can I just show this? You have it up there. Let me show the book itself, please. Can you come in on these adorable pictures? It's
Great
just one of the
illustrations.
best illustrated books. Anyhow, one of the things that you've said, now you said your kids read this book, but you said you do not let them watch television, that there are no newspapers or magazines. You contributed more to pop culture than probably any one person, but you don't let your kids watch television. You say it's poison. Here you are on television.
I know. Well, there's a reason for that. First of all, I grew up not watching television. And I'm not saying that there's nothing good on TV, but there's a lot of things that aren't good on TV, and I would rather my children get in the habit when they come home from school of reading or playing games or interacting with one another or going outside, because I do think that TV is very seductive and very mesmerizing, and I would prefer to encourage them to use other parts of their brain. And when they get older, if they want to watch TV, they can.
Do you watch TV?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Nothing.
This is pause.
I'm sorry. No, I don't. I mean,
don't read the news either?
I don't think about it.
Do you read newspapers and
No.
magazines? No? Where do you get your news from?
From my friends. I just hear about it. I hear about it from people. My husband listens to the BBC all the time, and so on the radio. So he gives me all the reports. Sometimes we listen to it together.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, very romantic.
Yeah, it is very romantic. By candlelight.
So now
It's actually really good to listen to.
we've talked books, we've talked family. Let's talk music for a minute.
Okay.
Each album, there have been 9, have been different from the next. What's the 10th album going to be like? Because I hear you're working on something.
It's all dance.
All dance music?
Yeah. It's supposed to come out late October, early November. Yeah. And it's just, I'm in the mood to dance, so that's the kind of music I'm making.
Oh, yeah, I bet a lot of people are.
So you still a party girl?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I am. She's still a party girl.
I love to dance. I love a cocktail. I you know, in its place, in its time, but I
You
love
going to tour again?
Yeah.
Dance when? Soon?
summer after this summer.
Gosh, you're busy. Please don't make it the last, because this has
Okay.
been a really good
I would love
time. And
to
you know
come
what?
back.
She doesn't come empty-handed. The
No.
English Roses, your first book. From that, you created a line of what? It's clothing, decor,
Yeah.
and dolls for
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
Adorable.
And everybody in our audience is getting a gift bag full of this stuff. It's so cute. It's really, really cute. It's a beautiful product. And also, you guys are also getting a copy of Lots of Decachus. You can go ahead and read that children's book. It's available in all the bookstores now. Our thanks to Madonna. Please do come back.
Thank
You are
you.
incredible. We'll be right back.